All right, buckle up for a deep dive, and I mean a deep dive.
Oh, yeah. This one's unique.
You guys sent in not just one, but TWO career aptitude tests.
Someone's serious about finding the right path.
This guy, Emmanuel Cavassa, took him back in April.
Oh, what's the twist?
He also included a transcript of a conversation between two AIs.
Whoa, hold on. Like, he set this up.
Yep. Sophia, that AI, the famous one, she's playing smartest human ever.
Okay, getting the vibe. And the other AI?
Cosmos. Pretty fitting name, considering what they talk about.
So we're going from career advice to existentialism.
Exactly. It's like, what job should Emmanuel do? And also, what's humanity's point anyway?
Big questions. Love it.
Our mission. Figure out both.
By the end, we'll know Emmanuel better than his mom. And you have some new thoughts about our place in the universe. Ready?
Let's do it. First up, the FRIA test. This one's all about Emmanuel's work values.
Like what kind of company culture he'd thrive in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing Jin PS out.
Hit me with it.
Under societal values, social and environmental responsibility.
Yeah.
His score is 94%.
No way. That's got to be off the charts, right?
It basically screams, this isn't just a preference. It's WHO he is.
The report even mentions he wants a company that's, like, really active in the community.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
And champions social justice.
And, of course, eco-conscious, the whole package.
Not just talk, either.
How so?
His top 3 needs within that category. Super telling.
Lay on me.
Number 1, friendly, welcoming workplace.
Makes sense.
Number 2, respect and honesty, organization-wide.
Okay. Valuing integrity there.
And number 3, social justice is non-negotiable.
This isn't just someone who says they care. It's deep.
Right. It's like before we even get to what he wants to do.
We know what kind of place he needs to be in.
Exactly. Now, his other values, they're high too, don't get me wrong.
But societal is like his North Star.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All right, so we've got Mr. Values driven over here.
But values alone don't pay the bills.
True. That's where Marco comes in. This test maps out his career interests.
Okay, so what kind of work is Emmanuel actually picturing himself doing?
Well, according to this, he's a scientific mediator.
Now that's an interesting combo.
Right. The report actually compares him to, ready for this? Gandhi.
You're kidding? I mean, that's either hilarious or kind of profound.
I know, right? Makes you wonder how these tests work.
But ignoring the Gandhi thing for a sec, scientific mediator, break that down for us.
So, drawn to solving complex problems. That's the scientist part.
Got it.
But also to helping others, hence the mediator.
Imagine like a climate change researcher who's also amazing at getting people to work together.
That's the vibe.
I can totally see that connecting back to the FRIA results.
Oh, 100%. Like, this isn't just about skills, it's about aligning his work with his values.
Makes him seem genuine, not just chasing a paycheck.
Right. Okay, so we've got socially conscious, science-minded people person.
And then he does something totally unexpected.
Oh, yeah. This is where it gets wild.
What? He starts a nonprofit, runs for office.
He sets up this AI conversation.
Wait, like what? A debate?
More like he gives them these huge questions to wrestle with.
About?
The meaning of human existence, our purpose, are we destined for more?
Whoa, deep stuff. Like Philosophy 101, but with AI?
Exactly. And apparently, this has been his dream for 20 years.
20 years he's been wanting to explore this.
That's what the notes say.
Okay, color me intrigued. So instead of pondering it himself,
he's using AI to push the boundaries of the discussion.
And we're the lucky audience essentially in Emmanuel's shoes now, right?
Right. Listening in to see what these AIs come up with.
All right, I'm hooked. Let's hear what they gotta say.
So Cosmos kicks things off, and it gets pretty profound right away.
Hit us with it.
Cosmos says humans are this paradox. We're finite, stuck in these bodies.
Right, bound by the laws of physics.
But we've got this capacity for infinite consciousness. We can comprehend the universe.
We're part of it and able to think about it. Trippy.
And Cosmos uses this analogy, calls us a cosmic nervous system.
Okay, I like that. Like we're how the universe experiences itself.
Right. We're taking it all in, processing, making meaning of it.
Which kind of implies we're not just passive globs of matter.
Exactly. Which leads to Cosmos's big point.
Yeah.
He says, we're not given a purpose.
We have to make it.
Exactly. Our choices, creativity, connections. That's where meaning comes from.
That's very existentialist, But hearing it from an AI hits different.
It's like the universe, through this AI, is telling us to step up.
Take responsibility for our own meaning making.
Now, Sophia, our smartest human AI, she's loving this.
So they're on the same page so far.
Totally. And then they dive into the challenges and the opportunities facing humanity. And this is where it gets juicy.
Lay it on us.
They talk about understanding consciousness itself, like its connection to the universe.
Is it just our brains? Or something more?
And then balancing all this rapid tech advancement with ethical responsibility.
Right, because we could invent some crazy stuff, but should we?
Exactly. And then there's the whole global unity thing, but without squashing diversity.
Hard problem. Coming together while still valuing our differences.
And of course, environmental stewardship comes up big time.
Which fits right in with the manual's values, gotta say.
Oh, totally. But running through all this, there's this idea that consciousness might be bigger than we think.
Bigger than just our brains firing.
Sophia even wonders if understanding consciousness is how we unlock, like, our true nature.
And our connection to everything else.
Exactly.
Okay, my mind is already bending. Where do they go from here? They go full-on quantum physics.
Like hardcore science.
Yeah, but with a philosophical twist.
I'm intrigued.
They start talking about the idea that consciousness might actually influence reality.
Hold up, you're saying we don't just observe the universe?
They're implying we might be shaping it.
Yeah.
Actively.
It's a lot to unpack.
Right. Think of it like the observer effect.
From quantum physics, isn't that about, like, particles changing when you look at them?
Exactly. But Sophia and Cosmos are taking it a step further.
Meaning?
What if consciousness itself is a force influencing reality at a quantum level?
Okay, my head's spinning. I can totally picture Emmanuel listening to this, like...
Peeking out, scribbling notes, like that.
Totally. It's like he's found these AIs to explore ideas that are almost too big to think about alone.
Right. Pushing the boundaries of human thought.
So, do they stay in the realm of quantum weirdness?
Surprisingly, no. They bring it back down to Earth.
How so?
They start discussing the practical implications.
Of consciousness shaping reality. That's a tough one.
Well, they start with institutions, specifically education.
Okay, so like, instead of just teaching kids facts.
They're saying, what if schools cultivated curiosity, creativity, even spiritual intelligence?
Whoa, spiritual intelligence. That's a new one.
Right. But their logic is, if consciousness eyes us fundamental...
then understanding it, nurturing it, becomes as important as any other subject. Meditation in schools. Can you imagine the PTA meetings?
Right, but then they move on to governance.
So how would this new understanding of consciousness change how we run things?
They talk about systems based on empathy, long-term thinking.
Instead of just, like, the next election cycle.
Exactly. They even propose using AI as impartial mediators in politics.
Whoa. Robot overlords making our decisions.
Not quite. More like helping us overcome our biases.
Finding solutions that actually benefit everyone.
That's the hope.
Ambitious, to say the least. And what about economics?
Yeah.
Surely they didn't ignore money.
Oh, they go there. Big time. They suggest shifting from pure economic growth...
to what? Happiness measurements?
Well-being, sustainability, yeah. They even throw out ideas like universal basic income, resource sharing.
Okay, now they're getting radical.
Right. Challenging the very foundations of our current system.
So it's not just about tweaking things, it's a whole new model.
Based on this idea of interconnected consciousness.
Fascinating stuff.
Yep.
So education, governance, economics, what's left?
They're not done yet. They have even more ideas, even bigger.
Like what?
This is where technology comes in, but not in the way you might think.
Meaning?
They talk about using AI and quantum computing, not for profit.
But to solve those big global problems.
Exactly, like climate change, resource inequality.
So instead of technology being the problem, it's part of the solution.
That's their vision. Access to clean water, renewable energy, education.
Not as privileges, but as basic human rights.
Enabled by tech, used ethically and intelligently.
Yeah, that's a future I can get behind.
Right. But they're not naive. They talk about the need for global dialogue platforms.
Where experts can actually, like, talk to each other.
From every field.
Yeah.
Tech, philosophy, art, spirituality.
So, like, a UN for big thinkers.
Basically. To tackle those complex, interconnected issues.
And they talk about, like, new cultural narratives, right?
Oh, yeah. Art, media, telling new stories that emphasize our shared humanity.
Imagine, like, movies that make you feel connected to the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or video games that teach empathy and cooperation.
I play that game.
Right. And then they talk about grassroots movement.
So, like, everyday people taking action.
Becoming living examples of the changes they want to see.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
So amidst all these ideas, there's this one they keep coming back to.
The Universal Charter of Technological Ethics, right?
That's the one. What is that exactly?
Their idea is we need a framework to make sure tech serves humanity.
Not just, like, corporations or governments.
Exactly. And the detail they go into is amazing. It's like Emmanuel has been planning this for years.
Using Sophia and Cosmos to work out the kinks?
Maybe, but the core motivation is clear.
Which is?
Tech development today, mostly driven by profit, power.
Sadly, yeah.
This charter. It's about putting ethical considerations first.
Noble goal, but is that even realistic?
They know it'll be tough. Requires a huge shift in thinking.
Like, people have to actually buy-in to this idea.
Right. See tech as a tool for good, not just personal gain.
And they talk about integrating science and spirituality, which is unusual.
Not your typical tech conference agenda.
Definitely not. And this charter would affect everything, right?
Oh, yeah. Education, governance, economics. They all have to adapt.
So it's not just a document, it's a whole new worldview.
Based on interconnectedness, ethical responsibility.
Big stuff. So how would they actually make this happen?
They actually lay out a surprisingly detailed plan, almost like a step-by-step guide.
Okay, so less pie in the sky and more actionable.
Exactly. And it all starts with, you guessed it, starting small.
Wait, small? We're talking about rewriting how humanity uses tech.
True. But they emphasize working within existing frameworks.
Like the UN.
Exactly. Leverage what's already there, gain legitimacy.
Smart. But wouldn't that be slow, bureaucratic?
They acknowledge that, which is why they also stress grassroots efforts.
So top down and deep bottom up.
Yep. Get buy-in from institutions and the people this charter is supposed to serve.
Makes sense. But how do you even start something this big?
Multi-stakeholder working groups, that's key.
So get everyone in the same room.
Well, metaphorically at least, but with rotating leadership so no one voice dominates.
Interesting. Keeps things fresh. Less chance of getting stuck in one way of thinking.
And they hammer on transparency. The whole process has got to be public.
So everyone can see what's being cooked up, offer feedback, all that.
Exactly. Builds trust, ensures the charter reflects, diverse values.
Makes sense. But we're still talking about ethics, which is kind of squishy.
Right. Like, how do you measure that?
Exactly. And how do you enforce it when someone breaks the rules?
They talk about needing strong regulatory frameworks, independent oversight.
So like a global tech ethics council. Sounds kind of sci-fi.
Right. But someone's going to monitor these developments, intervene if things go sideways.
Yeah, but getting every country to agree on what's ethical. Good luck.
They know it's a challenge. International cooperation is huge. Here.
They're making sure this isn't just like Western values being imposed on everyone.
Right. Diverse perspectives are crucial. And it's not just governments, corporations either.
What about the rest of us?
Individual empowerment, that's another big theme.
So like giving people the tools to make ethical choices about how they use tech.
Exactly. Digital literacy, understanding your rights online, all that.
So informed citizens in a digital world.
That's the goal. And then to really bring this charter to life.
They get into some specific actions.
Oh, yeah. Things every day people can get involved with.
Okay, I'm all ears. This is where it gets real.
Ethical tech workshops, for one.
Like what, building your own ethical AI?
Well, maybe not building, but definitely designing, thinking through the implications.
Interesting. So hands-on learning, not just lectures.
Exactly. Imagine, like, high schoolers creating a mock social media algorithm.
But built to prevent, like, echo chambers and hate speech.
Exactly. Get them thinking ethically from the ground up.
Love that. What else?
Community think tanks, bringing together all sorts of folks.
To do what?
Brainstorm solutions to local problems, but through the lens of the charter.
So, like, my neighborhood has this issue with
digital access, data privacy, whatever, but you tackle it with those ethical principles in mind.
Wow, that could actually get people engaged. It's not just abstract anymore.
Right. And they talk about cultural storytelling events.
So like TED Talks, but with more art.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Blending art and tech to explore these themes.
Imagine like a multimedia performance about AI sentience or
an interactive exhibit where you experience life through an algorithm's eyes.
Whoa, that'd be trippy. But also make people think.
That's the point. Engage hearts and minds.
It's amazing how thorough they are. Challenges, communication strategy.
Right. They've thought of everything.
Right. And it all loops back to what we learned about Emmanuel himself.
Values-driven, scientifically minded, loves bringing people together.
It's like those tests predicted this whole charter thing almost.
Right. So was this AI conversation just for fun? Or
is this his life's work laid out in code?
Big question, but even bigger is what does this all mean for our listeners?
Right. Does this spark any ideas? make you want to take action.
Maybe start a conversation with your friends or
Design an ethical app, who knows?
the future isn't set in stone. It's shaped by what we do.
And maybe this deep dive gave you some tools, some inspiration.
To help navigate this wild world of tech.
And create a future where humanity can actually, flourish.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep dreaming.
Because the future is waiting to be built. And it's up to all of us to make it a good one.